There are few rivalries in comic book history as iconic as Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. Their clash is more than a simple battle between superhero and villainette. It's a conflict layered with personal tragedy, it's betrayal, and a shared destiny shaped by the choices of two men. While countless stories have revisited their struggle, the core animosity remains the same, the unstoppable force of Spider-Man's responsibility versus the immovable object of Green Goblin's ambition and madness. The origins of this rivalry are unmistakably personal. Peter Parker and Norman Osborn's Spider-Man and the Green Goblin are, in many ways, mirror images shaped by different responses to power. Peter, imbued with extraordinary abilities after a freak accident, vows to use his powers for the good of others. After his own selfish choices led to a devastating personal loss. Norman Osborn, genius industrialist and scientist, falls victim to his own ambition. When his risk-laden experiment to enhance himself backfires, the result is not wisdom, but madness, the birth of the Green Goblin. On paper, Spider-Man and the Green Goblin are costumed opposites. The bright, agile hero versus the grotesque, cackling villain. Spider-Man's web-swinging spectacle and acrobatics contrast with the Goblin. As terrifying flights over Manhattan on his glider, his laughter slicing through the air. But beneath the costumes, their war is far more intimate. What truly escalates their rivalry is Norman's relationship to Peter. Unlike many comic adversaries, the Green Goblin famously discovers that Spider-Man is, in fact, Peter Parker the quiet, unassuming man dating his friend's son Harry. Armed with this knowledge, every confrontation becomes personal. The Green Goblin knows exactly how to hurt Spider-Man, most not just by threatening the city or his reputation, but by attacking those Peter loves. Their battles are legendary for their intensity. On rooftops and bridges, alleys and factories, Spider-Man and the Green Goblin clash again and again. Green Goblin hurls razor-edged pumpkin bombs, each one promising destruction, while Spider-Man's reflexes and webbing are put to the ultimate test. But Norman fights with more than gadgets. He fights with manipulation, using Peter's guilt and sense of responsibility as psychological weapons. He forces Spider-Man into impossible choices. Save one life or another, protect your identity, or risk everything to keep your loved ones from danger. Perhaps the most infamous example is the night on the George Washington Bridge, where the Green Goblin abducts Gwen Stacy, Peter's great love, and throws her from the top. Spider-Man reaches her in time, but the whiplash of her sudden stop proves fatal. It's a moment that scars Peter forever and cements the Goblin as his mortal enemy. The battle that follows is raw and desperate. As Spider-Man's grief turns to fury, Norman, never one to relent, taunts Peter with his loss. But ultimately, the Goblin's own madness leads to his downfall. In his attempt to finish Spider-Man, his glider impales him, ending the fight at the cost of his life. Yet even death rarely ends anything in comic books. The Goblin persona endures. Norman Osborn cheats death, returns, and the cycle of vengeance resumes. Other men, even Norman's own son Harry, take up the mantle of the Green Goblin, each time targeting Spider-Man from new angles, whether through brute force, cunning schemes, or by corrupting the very institutions Peter trusts. What makes their rivalry so enduring is its psychological depth. Both men possess genius intellect, but wield it in opposite ways. Spider-Man's wit is a shield. It's a way to mask his pain and steady his nerves, while the Goblin's cunning is laced with cruelty and a hunger for power. The deeper truth is that both are haunted Spider-Man by the possibility of failing those in his care. The Green Goblin by a fear of irrelevance and loss of control. No matter how many times Spider-Man triumphs over the Green Goblin, he is left with scars, some visible, some unseen. The Goblin, for his part, remains obsessed. He's determined that if he cannot destroy Spider-Man, he can at least unravel his world. And so, their conflict continues, not just across the streets of New York, but across decades of storytelling. In the end, the story of Spider-Man versus the Green Goblin is about more than good versus evil. It's a cautionary tale about power, responsibility, and the cost of obsession. It shows that true heroism is found not in victory, but in perseverance, and that the greatest battles are often fought within ourselves.